What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Galaxy Garage, where I am finishing up the inside of my container build. I know it's been a few weeks since my last video, and got a little busy with work and life caught up to me, so I'm back at it again. I'm excited. So I did cut out a lot of stuff on this video because I didn't want to make it super long, and all the footage that I had probably would have put this way over the amount of time that I wanted it to be. I'm trying to keep my videos short as possible and get to the point of what I'm building. So here I'm just adding some handles on a box that I had built and added some sides. And here I have two rails on the inside of my box, and that's going to hold this in place. And it's I bolted those in place, so it's not going to go anywhere, as it'll hold this in there. So we're doing a bit of a dry fit here. 4 holes cut on top. This is where my Kyber crystal chambers are going to fit. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it at the top so you can go check that out. Just making sure it was a tight fit too. I mean, it went in there perfect. So we'll go ahead and there's the Kyber crystal chamber, and you can see it rocking around. I put this push hinge in there, and you push it down, it clicks, it locks in place. You push it again and it pushes open. They're used for doors, and it has this magnet in there. So that was my idea. That's what I was going with, and I just realized, like, oh my god, it won't stop rocking. It was just rocking back and forth, and I couldn't get it to stop. So I figured, well, I'll put a chamber on the inside to where the Kyber crystal will slide down into, and that didn't work either. So I canned the whole thing, and I ended up screwing a washer on the inside of the lid on top, and I ended up using a magnet in order for me to kind of hook to the top and pull it right out, and it worked out perfect. You're probably saying, like, why don't you just grab the holes and pull the thing out? What do you need the hinges for? But you'll see why in a little bit. So there's the grills. I'm going to put those on the side. I took those off of an old box that I had. And I'm just going to measure this out. We got 2 of them, so we got 1 for each side. So we'll have LED strips in there as well. And there are the handles. Once the Kyber crystal container's in there, those handles are going to help out if I ever have to get into the wiring. There are those hinges that I was telling you about, those push-pull locking hinges. So I did all that work and trying to put it in there, figure it out, and I ended up canning it after that. I never put them back in. Didn't work out. Didn't like the way it made the chambers rock, and so now we're just measuring out for the grill. And the plan for the grill was to put it kind of inset. I wanted to inset it on top and keep it flush, but they weren't cut straight. I didn't like the way it looked, and I decided to go ahead and can that as well, and I put it on the inside. So I measure both sides out here and get the jigsaw out. Let's go to work. And I have to stop and realize, like, uh-oh, I don't have my vacuum going. Let's get that going. Now, I know I'm not wearing a mask, but the vacuum that I have is very powerful. So I keep the filter extremely clean. I always clean it before cuts and make sure that it always stays clean, because you definitely don't want to be breathing this stuff in, and it's not like a huge cut. And jigsaws, they let off some dust, but not as much as my table saw. So when I got my table saw going, that's when I have my mask on. So just gonna go ahead and make quick work of this, and I'll do both sides. Go get this cleaned up, get it sanded down. Was not as straight as I wanted it to be. It was kind of hard to cut that bottom cut on this cut out here, so I went ahead and brought out my files and kind of straightened it out a little bit better. I don't have a laser cutter. I wish I did. That's done. Let's go ahead and dry fit this grill in here. So And as you can see, it just looks a whole lot better. It fits on the inside. perfect. So now onto the greeblies. And I started adding greeblies against this back wall in here, thinking that I was going to be able to see it through the grill, and it didn't quite work out the way I thought it was going to work out. So I have a lot of these boards here, these computer boards, and I get them from, of course, computers and whatever else that's being thrown out. And we do have a big trash day here in my neighborhood, so I'll run through the neighborhood on Big Trash Day, and anything that I see, if it's a TV or anything electronic, I'm picking it up. And my wife doesn't like it, but oh well. When I tell her I'm using the stuff that's in it for free, she's like, oh, okay. But I start going through here, and at this point right here, I'm doing some cable management. I'm trying to keep the cables to where they're zip tied in a way where they're going to stay in front of the grill and I can see them and they're not flopping around everywhere. Because my initial thing that I was doing, I was not going to put a board down at the bottom. So this is why I was zip tying everything and screwing it down and trying to keep the wires in front of the grill, because I wanted to be able to see it through and give that look of these wires just running in front of that grill. So I did some really good cable management here for nothing. I ended up tearing it all apart after it didn't work out. So just going through, grabbing some more harnesses. I have so much of that stuff as well. And just trying different pieces, seeing if they fit, screwing them down. And this is where I noticed, like, oh, I can't see anything through the grill at the angle that it was at. So, and you can see I'll lay it flat here, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give a little test to see if this changes anything, and I can see it through the grill. And I don't show it in this clip, but I flip it over and I look at it, and it worked out. And I was able to see the actual boards inside through looking down on them. And I cut out a board, and I screwed these motherboards, or these computer boards, to the top of that. And now I'm just trying to work them in there. The fit in the inside of this cubby is very tight, so I'm having to break some of the prongs off and clean it up a little bit in order for it to sit in there the way I want it to. And it takes a little bit of, elbow grease to get it done, but, flipping boards out, changing stuff around, trying different boards, just, scratching my brain. I got a box behind me that's filled with these, so I'm going through them. And I'm trying to find one that has a lot of character to it. It's got some stuff that's really popping out on it. Thought that was it, and flipped it around, tried it again. Trying to break off more pieces here to get it to fit, and there we go. Clean fit with that board, and it came out really good. Go ahead and shine a light through there so you guys can see that, and all that gets painted, gray, so it pops. And that light, when that LED light is in there, it really makes it pop a lot. It gives it a lot of character. I love the way it came out. So I went ahead and skipped the whole process of sealing it and just sealed it and started sanding everything down and getting the prep ready for the sanding. To me, when I get to this stage of the build, it's really satisfying for me, just because of the fact that I know I'm done with everything else as far as the greeblies, and I'm to that finish point now, and I know I'm getting closer to the end when I get down to the sealing and the primer of a build. because then it's just fine details after that. You know, all the big part of this build is over with. I'll jump right into the primer. I go ahead and put a gray primer on this as well, and I'll shoot one coat on there. There it is. I ended up having some gouges, some not very deep gouges, but I wanted to clean it up. I didn't mind some gouges and scratches on this thing. I wanted to make it look like it was old and worn. And you know, guys, I hope you like it. I don't show the painting. I just go with a simple black on this, but I did do a small video for you guys, and I hope you guys like it. Well guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. And if you did, hit that like button, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'll have that down in the descriptions below. And I just want to give a thanks to all the guys out there who have supported me through this and starting my channel.